Walt indicated, I'm Chandler Woodcock, the Commissioner of the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. I've been, I think, uniquely privileged to be able to observe this Medicaid expansion discussion from two distinctly different venues. First as a member of the Maine State Senate for 6 years, and now as the Commissioner of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. During my time in the State Senate, I became all too familiar with the expression supplemental budget as a senator. The state seemed to always be short of funds. It was extremely frustrating to me to hear the promises, in particular, to pay back our hospital system and not be able to do so and break the promise yet again. I am very blessed to be the Commissioner of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, and I'm honored that Governor LePage would select me for the position. Governor LePage, I believe, for all the right reasons, manages our state, and I have the highest regard for the governor. He kept his promise to pay the hospitals. He stated that he will not submit a supplemental budget and that we must gain control of the Medicaid expansion. The governor is a businessman, and I believe the state benefits significantly from that fact. In a private conversation with him very recently, I told him, in what was a moment that I will remember for a long time, a private conversation with the governor, that I admire him because he manages the budget of the state, and he has selected the issues of the state for the right reason. And the right reason is that Maine cannot afford to continue on this pathway. His business acumen is managing the budget of the state for my children, for your grandchildren, and for your children's grandchildren. And I think it's lost upon the community at large at times because of the immediacy of the world in which we live, the instant gratification moments that we have, that the future of Maine is at stake in this discussion. And I know you hear the hyperbole all the time, but I'll tell you, I think for the natural resource arena and for Maine, this is the most important discussion that I've been a part of in my lifetime. 50 years from now, we will be impacted by this moment. 100 years from now, we will be impacted by this moment. Our department has a unique funding mechanism that we have constitutionally protected for licensed revenues. And people said, in fact, a couple of people in this room said to me when they noticed me standing in the back today, "What's IFW doing here today?" Well, I think that's part of the concern for all of us who are in the midst of this discussion. It seems to be vacuumed into the Department of Human Services quite often, and public, and perhaps the media, and perhaps members of the legislature have to appreciate the scope of the tentacles of this expansion. So for Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, we are a dedicated revenue department in part. We receive general funds. Any general funds sweeping in our department, any loss of revenues from the true general fund has a great impact upon us because we don't receive a proportion, a great many dollars from the general fund compared to other departments. Our programs, such as the promotion of our department. It's kind of a vicious cycle we're in. We need licensed sales, and in order to do that, we need to attract people to the state with the perception that the outdoors of Maine is a viable alternative to the rest of the international community. That's a hard sell sometimes. We have a wonderful state. It's been my honor with my family to be here for, as we say in Maine, almost all my life. Over 60 years. Our state will compare with anybody in this natural resource arena. You've heard the other commissioners state what a wonderful resource we have in Maine in our natural resource environment. We are able to promote the department to the degree that we would like to be able to do so. And the general fund proportion that we have given to us is a part of that discussion. We would love to expand into the sportsman shows beyond the east coast of the United States and the Canadian Maritime Provinces. We would love to be able to deal with the social media in a truly meaningful fashion because, as some of you in this room are keenly aware, I'm older. And because I'm older, social media has a different definition to me. It means ask your children. But we all know that social media is the means of communication today for our youth. So when people say to me, what are you doing to attract the youth to the state of Maine? My response is simple. We have to connect with them. And connectivity for us is different now in the generation in which we live. Another example of a concern that I have, and have had for a while, is our hatchery system, where we raise our species of fish, has been in existence since 1895 in the state. 1895. We put out 1 million fish, rounded up, 1 million fish into the waters of the state. We would love to be able to expand that. It's a costly proposition. Hatcheries need upgrades. Hatcheries often need expansion. I remember the discussion we put the Emden hatchery, wonderful facility. Others need to have an examination such as that. Anglers have competitive natures. As you know, anglers tend to exaggerate too. So when I say Maine is one of the best places to fish, many think that I'm exaggerating that fact. But if you ask the community at large, they'll tell you we have a unique resource in Maine in many places. And the ability to come here and use it is critical to our future. It isn't always wild fish we're dealing with, although we have a magnificent wild fishery. The hatchery fish are important to us, all 1 million of them. So, as Medicaid consumes more funding in our state, our natural resources and the departments that oversee them take the hits. And believe me, I appreciate the debate surrounding Medicaid. I've been a part of it. I guess because I'm standing here today, I'm still a part of it. That bothers me. I'm still a part of it. 10 years later. For me, the essence of the issue is we need to assist those who are most in need of services. You've heard me say that before in other venues. It's an important notion. We need to assist those who are most in need of services. Ironically, we can't now. We cannot serve an expanded eligibility of Medicaid. Our ability to maintain Maine is being threatened. For me, this is the debate of my lifetime. Because I know that our 4 children and soon to be 13 grandchildren. Yeah, I know, you're calculating Christmas cards, I do too. Our 13 grandchildren will be affected, are being affected. And my responsibility is to entertain the best result for them. As a grandfather, as a papa. That's what this is about. So consider carefully the consequences of your decisions for the sake of the generations